Hello, friend. If it's your first time here, I want to welcome you to the collective. And to those of you returning, I'm so happy to see you again. If you are feeling like just so desperate for change, or like you're chasing a fairy tale that you know is obtainable, it's just a matter of one of those things where it's like it feels like a fairy tale because you've been working at it for so long, and it's just, other people have it, so when are you going to have it? Not that we should be comparing ourselves, but sometimes it's easier said than done. Or if you've just been pushing yourself to make the changes, to be better, to do better, but you're just so tired of it constantly being internal work, constantly feeling like, okay, I'm making this change, I'm doing the thing, I'm doing the things. When is something finally going to show? Well, that's what we're focusing on in this reading. So let's, as always, start with finding out what the actual underlying circumstances are, because in order to be solution oriented, we do have to know everything that's going on underneath. So our first card, still not failing enough. This card is like one of those reminders where it's like, what do you mean I'm not feeling enough? Like I'm constantly doing things. All right, hear me out. This is a slap in the face for me too, so don't feel like you're like getting hit with this message alone, being aggravated with it. But still not feeling enough is the reminder that you just have to keep pushing through. You have to keep doing the thing. You have to keep trying, but don't just keep repeating it over and over again. See what you can make differently. See what you can do differently, because clearly it's not even that like if you're failing that you're doing something wrong. It's that in the belief that you're failing, that there's something that needs to change. So if, say you're trying to lose weight, that's an easy one to talk about, and you're walking every day, and you've been walking every day for the past 4 weeks and you still haven't seen a physical change in your body. Walking's not failing. Going for those walks are huge wins and huge successes. But maybe what's failing you is your mentality about why you're taking those walks. Maybe instead of focusing on weight or visual changes, you should be focusing on the fact that you're doing something healthy for you, that you're making a healthy lifestyle change. So know that failing doesn't have to necessarily be in the actions that are different, but it could be the mindset that is failing you, and then that's what needs to change. Connection is the only game. So you're not in this alone. You have to remember that doing this alone, allowing yourself to feel isolated, lonely, and like just that it's not something that other people can understand is what's hurting you. And this is coming from someone who has been on solo journeys herself, who knows that, it feels weird to be open and vulnerable about the fact that, hey, I'm working and I'm doing all these things. I'm, releasing and changing and, changing my mental thoughts and behaviors and doing everything I can, and yet I don't see anything different on the outside. It's hard to open up to people about that. It really is. Because not only are you talking about the beliefs that have kept you where you are now, but you're also opening up about the reasons why you had them in the first place. And you're putting yourself in a place where other people could possibly judge you for your journey. And you know what? That's scary, and I get that. But connection is the point. Connection is the point. It is the purpose. So let's remember that while we're feeling isolated and lonely, that maybe the answer is to reach out to a friend or, someone that we can talk to about this stuff, a mentor, a teacher, a loved one, and just, help yourself, allow yourself to see what you have done and be proud of the changes you have made. World Maker is only the job in the final future. Sorry, let me repeat that. World Maker is only job in the final future. Yeah, okay, that's read weird. Okay, so sorry, I'm really getting caught up on that like final sentence for some reason. I'm sure there's a purpose for that. I'm not going to try to look too much into it right now. But this card's always been a reminder that like you want to change your world, you want to create your world, but it's one of those things where you're actively doing that now. And you're not going to see the world that you make, the changes that you make, until you get to the quote unquote top. Here's the thing about this pyramid though, like there are steps And each step is a different color, and each step is a different part of the journey. And each layer you put on there is you creating your world. So that final future, that is you like achieving what you would think is like the success, the end, but then you just keep, putting on more platforms, more things. So this card is a reminder that yes, you're going to make your world over and over and over again by relaying your foundations and building upon them. And then we have, what would ultra intelligent imaginary me do? Yeah, so this card is great because it allows you to really think outside the box. Really allows you to just like set your mind to anything's a possibility. How would I handle this? Sometimes, you'll find yourself getting in touch with your future self. He's like, hey, this is what we do. Sometimes you'll just make such fantastical solutions that you laugh. And maybe you just needed that laugh. Maybe that was the point of you finding that solution. Or maybe you will like find an answer in that solution, even though it's got something to do with, you flying like Superman. Allow yourself to really think outside the box. And allow yourself to realize that you have more knowledge inside of you than what you realize. Water the things you care about. It ain't always going to be dirt. So, and this is another card that's coming at me and hitting me in the face because I feel like, being told to water the things you care about, and you're like, I've been watering them, I've been weeding, I've been doing the thing. Yes, this card is a reminder that patience is necessary, but this card's also a reminder too that things take their own time. Things take their own time and it can't be rushed. The process can't be rushed. So trust that while you're doing this, yes, the results are eventually going to be seen. The results are eventually going to be shown. And I get it. You're tired of being told to dig deeper roots. I'm there too. But here's the thing. The deeper the roots, the better that these flowers or whatever it is that you're doing can withstand any storm that comes its way. So allow yourself to work on the roots, allow yourself to keep growing and trusting that yes, this watering is doing something and it's going to help me long term, which is going to make me happier than just focusing on the short term. Now let's get to the tarot cards because I get that like right now, we know what we're doing. We know that what we're doing is making a change. We know that what we're doing is laying a foundation. I want to ask the tarot cards what thought processes, or what, not even thought processes, but like what happened to keep us in this place to think that we're not doing the thing that has making us believe that what we're doing isn't enough, that we need to have that external validation. What is it that's keeping us looking for the thing that's going to be, hey, you finally succeeded, or hey, you did it, congratulations. First card we got is the Queen of Pentacles in her upright position. So she is earth energy. Not only is she earth energy, but she is divine feminine, which allows things to flow in their own natural time. So when I get the Queen of Pentacles, I have the most compassionate, the most nurturing, the most loving person that you are. Like, this person is you, and you have the ability to plant, to create, to grow, to have the patience for things to have, to have the patience for things to happen in their time. It's just a matter of leaning into this part of yourself. The Queen of Pentacles understands that, as the seeds grow, they're going to grow in their own time. And the Queen of Pentacles probably has the time and the patience for everybody else, but forgets to use that same compassion on herself. So allow yourself to look yourself in the mirror and be like, am I holding myself up to the same loving standard that I give to everybody else? Or am I holding myself to a different standard and expecting myself to be, more rushed or different than those around me? And then we have the Ten of Swords. So something's ending. Some type of ending here where it's a matter of you having to fight yourself almost. Because when we get the Ten of Swords, there's been a battle. It's been an emotional and mental battle. And it's been one of those where you've been let down, you've been disappointed, you've been stabbed in the back, And it's a tough place to be. And when I see this Ten of Swords specifically, like this card specifically, it kind of reminds me of like the whole like battlefield, like walking off the battlefield. Typically this card has a person like laying flat with like 10 swords in their back, but this one's a bit different. This person's standing up or floating. I'm not really sure if they're floating. I think they're standing up, and they're walking towards the light. Like they are leaving all of that behind them, and they're saying, you know what? It's not a part of me anymore. I'm going to move on. With that being said though, the moving on, it's one of those things where you still have to allow yourself to realize that, you know, there was a finale, there was an end, and that you're no longer going to have to repeat whatever it is that you just experienced, and allow yourself to, you know, lean into the peace, lean into the easement of things going forward, even if it just feels like routine and that the routine's not enough. It is enough. So allow yourself to find comfort in it. Then we have the Chariot in its reverse position. Chariot's a big reminder that you are going to win. You are going to go forward. You are going to find success, even in its reverse position. The only thing about its reverse position is you're leaning too much one way or too much the other. You're either leaning too much into work, too much into play, too much into sleep, too much into working out, too much into escaping. Whatever it is, you're not allowing yourself to be in a balanced state. And that can cause you to have exhaustion, pitfalls, burnout. That can cause you to feel confused, overwhelmed, overburdened, because you're just trying to do things in extremes, and you're not allowing yourself to enjoy the process as you're moving forward. Then we have the Three of Wands. Yeah, okay, sorry. Sometimes like this card, like I think it's the font where I'm just like, is that really what this card's about? So Three of Wands, this is a reminder that you are in a waiting period. Not only are you in a waiting period, but like you are on the edge of this waiting period. So the example I like to give with the Three of Wands is you can fill out all the applications you want. You can fill out 100 million applications. You can't actually do anything until you receive like some type of information back from who you sent those applications to. So if you're filling out applications for a job, you can't do anything until you get some type of letter or word or, you know, something back from the company to say, hey, either we're interested or sorry, no, we're not. Like you're just in this waiting phase. And the waiting phase sucks. And the Three of Wands in its reverse position 100% tells me that you have been here for a hot minute. Here's the thing. You don't have to wait by doing nothing. You can wait and prepare. And the Three of Wands in its reverse position is really urging you to look around and see what it is you can do to be in preparation. Do you need to do the laundry? Can you do the dishes? Can you clean your house? Can you, make sure that you have an oil change or whatever it is, like mow the grass? I don't know. But when the Three of Wands in its reverse position, it's telling me that the wait is almost over, but you need to utilize what time you have left to prepare yourself, so that way when you do get that job interview, so that way when you do start the process and everything, that, not everything happens so quickly that you're like, oh my God, I feel behind. So utilize this time to prepare. And then we have the Empress in her upright position, which is a beautiful thing to see, because this is telling me that instead of just digging our roots deeper, like all these cards up here are telling us that what's happening is that we're moving into a spring season. Like how I was just telling you that the wait is almost over. The Empress is all about fertility, about growth, about things coming to fruition. So it's coming, it's there. We are in spring. I think it's just a matter of, letting things to bloom and fruits. And you have to remember, some things fruit sooner than other things, like strawberries and pine berries. Those are fruits that only fruit from April to June. By July, they're done. And then you have things like tomatoes that don't start fruiting until like mid-June, July, and go all the way until August, September, one time October. Like I literally had a tomato plant that was still producing tomatoes in October. And then you have some things like pumpkins, which don't really start doing their thing and becoming ripe and ready until like October. So understand that yes, everything's going to fruit in its own time, but it's there. Oh, and then the world. Okay, so whatever this is, you are going through a major, like, okay, this is gonna sound real cliche, but you're really going through like a major finale. Because we have the World Maker card, we have the keep throwing water at it, we have the connection, we have not failing enough. That's all telling me about just perseverance and the need to push through. And then we have the Chariot in its reverse position here, which tells me you're going to succeed, you're gonna win. It's just a matter of trusting the process and finding the balance. I understand that we're waiting, but the waiting is almost over. And then I have the Empress, which she's like, hey, the fruit's coming, like, just give us the chance to actually produce the fruit. And then we got the World, and we also have the Ten of Swords in its upright position. These two cards are completion cards, 100%. Ten of Swords is you leaving a mentality behind, is you leaving an experience behind, is you leaving something that has kept you trapped. It's you letting go of thoughts, experiences, other people's voices, societal expectations. And the World is a lesson that you're never gonna have to go again. Like, it's done. You're completing a chapter, or maybe even a story of your life. Like, you're closing one book and starting another. This World card is saying that you are succeeding and that you are completing everything that you are meant to complete, and everything that you do is going to be like done in a way where it's going to be something you don't have to repeat. The foundation will be so laid so strongly, so securely, that you will be able to continue to build on this for decades. So this World card here is telling me that you are on the verge, or in the middle, or like currently doing right now a completion of something huge, of something important, of something that is, you know, a one and done thing. Like, you're not going to keep repeating this lesson. You're not going to keep having to work at these changes. When this change happens, it happens, and it's not going to go away. So allow yourself to understand that part of the reason why you feel like you're chasing a fairy tale, or why you feel like you're just constantly pushing yourself to be better and not seeing the results, is because what you're doing isn't meant to be temporary change. What you're doing is meant to be a lifetime change. What you're doing is meant to do something that completely pivots your timeline of, you know, where you're heading to where you're going. You're doing something that's, you know, more than just, you know, I want to be skinny, or I want to, you know, have always a clean house, or I want more money. You're doing stuff that involves with you changing yourself and who you are at your core level. And that is amazing, and that is phenomenal. But just give yourself time to allow things to work out. I know you're aggravated. I feel that. So we are actually going to ask the cards how to help us to get through this aggravation and this like time of waiting and impatience. All right, so how do we get like through this time of like waiting and patience, the preparation of knowing that we are on the verge, on the edge? We're tired of feeling this way, tired of hearing it, tired of feeling like a bowstring that's about to snap, of feeling like, you know, why should I keep continuing when everything feels like it's not, you know, doing anything? Even though the cards are all telling us we're moving forward. Like, this is a great reading so far. Omens. Okay. So this is just asking you to look around for signs, to ask for encouragement, ask spirit, ask universe, the God, goddess, whatever it is that you believe in. Ask for signs, ask for clarification, ask for, you know, whatever you need to. But also look at your own life. Like, look around without even asking for some type of divine intervention, and see what you see in your life that's different, or that shows a sign of success. Like, for me, huge thing that I did, I washed my laundry, I folded my laundry, and I put it away. Like, in one day, which is huge. And I haven't had a single article of clothing on my floor in like a week, which is, and again, huge. Like, that's, so like that would be an omen. If you're somebody who struggles keeping a clean house, but yet you've always, like, you found a way this week to keep all the dishes out of your sink, and you've washed every dish that has gone in your sink, and you have a clean sink right now, let that be an omen. Let that be a sign. Let that be proof. So don't just ask and depend on divine, like, you know, signs and angel numbers or whatever it is that you're looking for, but also find your own evidence of the things that you're doing and see what that is. Maybe the walks that you've been taking that you are doing every day for the past 4 weeks, maybe in the very beginning when you started those, you were really out of breath and your legs just hurt so bad and like you felt like you were gonna die. And now your walk is nothing to you. It's easy, it's simple. Is it something that you look forward to? Find your own, little wins and compound those into something that can help you to get through this time. Healing energy. Yeah, okay, so this feels really redundant because a lot of these cards are talking about the fact that we're working on transformation, that we're clearing things out, that we're doing things. This card is a reminder, though, that like healing is meant to put us in dark places. I'm not saying that we're supposed to stay there because we're 100% not supposed to stay there. But look at this hand. The hand is dark and then there's light all around it. Unfortunately, if you are feeling like you're not in a great place, you're feeling uncomfortable, you're feeling like, something's got to give, that you just want something to work on your behalf, there's probably still a little bit of something that needs to be healed, needs to be worked on. Maybe it's inner child, maybe it's young adult, maybe it's just that you need to have a good cry. Crying in the shower is my favorite place to cry. There needs to be something that needs to be healed. So I would strongly suggest just journaling or meditating or letting yourself scream out into the void, whatever it is that you need to do to release that, because this resistance that you're feeling is a resistance. This exhaustion, this desperation, this just overwhelming need to see something give, there needs to be a bit of healing involved too. And who knows, maybe that healing is all you need to allow things to go into fruition. Letting go. Another slap in the face. The cards are being rude. Like, we were asking for encouragement here. Okay, so letting go. This one is more about you letting go about how your success looks. Like, you have in your mind exactly what this Three of Wands on its return is to be. Like, you know what you want, you see, you understand what it is that you're looking for. So like, if we're the one who's walking every day for the past 4 weeks, then we want to see us lose weight. We want to see our waist get skinnier. Like that is what we're focusing on. And we need to let go of that, because that expectation is going to be realistic eventually. But right now, that's not what's important. So we need to let go of that. If you are trying to get a promotion, or if you are working hard to create somehow more income into your life, and you know that if you just do this one thing that it's going to work out, you need to let go of that expectation and understand that the actions that you're taking, yeah, they are most likely going to help you because you know you're in alignment. But at the same time, the outcome that you're thinking isn't the outcome that's actually going to help you. So let go of that expectation. Just let go of it and understand that it is going to happen. It just might not happen the way that you expect it to. And because you have an expectation of what the solution is supposed to look like or how the outcome's supposed to work, you're keeping it at a distance, at a hand's reach, and, not allowing it to come to you in a natural way. It's all good. Again, it feels like another slap in the face, but here we are. So this card for me, it was one I struggled with for a hot minute, because when I get it, it's never when I feel everything's good. It always happens when I'm like, no, my life feels really shitty. My life feels not comfortable and I'm not happy, which is why I'm coming to the cards. But then I think about it and I'm like, no, you know what? This card reminds me that I have a lot of good things going for me. I live in a good house. I have a loving family. My pets are healthy. My family's healthy. I have a car. There's clean air around me. I have running water. I have electricity. Like, I have all these things. So why am I allowing this just overwhelming discomfort, this one portion of my life, of my focus, to take that away from me, to take away the ability to see all the good that I do have in my life? So allow yourself to look around and be thankful and have gratitude for what you do have. And, maybe we're just a little bit too in our heads, and maybe, yeah, you're exhausted, I get it, but, maybe start focusing on something else for a hot minute. Start focusing on the fact that you have good things, that you do have abundance around you in some way or form. You have running water, you have food, you have clothes, you have a roof over your head, you have a phone or a computer, you have, things going good for you. So let's not forget about those things and think about those things and have them help us to move forward. All right, now I want to ask the cards just for some affirmations to help us through this, because they're kind of putting us in a place to just keep perseverance going, and that's not fun to hear. And even like these cards, which I were hoping that they would give us a little bit of, direction or clarity and understanding, and they kind of said the same thing. Perseverance is key. So I'm like, okay, I want some affirmations that are going to keep us encouraged, keep us knowing maybe what it is that we need to do, focus on, feel, think, I don't know, something. Because I feel like we've just got really beat up by the cards. I feel like this message has been a bit rough, even for my, typical self-love type of, or not self-love, tough love type of reading. So we have, I choose to try even though I am afraid. So that's important. I choose to try even though I am afraid. This is that reminder that, like, yes, I'm going to keep doing, I'm going to keep working, even though I'm not sure where it's going to land me. It's a matter to remember that you have to keep doing the action. It's that whole I'm not failing enough. I am strong enough. So this is a good affirmation, because it makes me wonder, are you so busy comparing yourself to other people's high rate Leos that you're forgetting your own strength? Because if you are not focusing on your own strength and you're focusing on those around you, then maybe you do need to remember that you're strong enough, that you're good enough, that you have what you need already. I'm allowed to take time to heal. Okay, so that is huge, and that has a lot to do with that whole chariot thing I was talking about. And, the need for the connecting and healing and talking to people are both very healing. If you can connect and you can open up about the things that you've done, be vulnerable about the process and the growth that you've been through, then you're going to find healing in that too. So you are allowed to take time to heal. You are allowed to take time to connect. You are allowed to take time for yourself. I am more at ease every day. 100%. I was talking about that with, understanding that sometimes you just have to realize that the change that you're making, when you feel like you're not doing it enough or it's not been enough, realize how, where you were when you started and how much different you are now. Like if you took that walk and you found yourself really suffering at the end of the walk, and then 4 weeks later, now it's easy. Or, if you were someone who was struggling to keep the house clean, now all of a sudden you can keep, all your dishes clean. Realize that, it's getting easier. You're making change. You're making difference. And the point of life is balance, not perfection. Balance, 100%. And it's that whole understanding that things aren't going to be perfect until ever. It's that whole understanding that, you're not failing enough, and that's okay. You just have to keep doing your best, and that's fine. Balance is important, but you also have to trust the process. You have to trust the timing of everything. So yes, the point of life is balance, not perfection. And that's another important thing to remember too, is that perfection doesn't really exist. Perfection is a man-made construct and a lie that we allow ourselves to believe in. Why we allow ourselves to believe in it? I don't know. Other people do, and I guess we just fell into that trap. It happens. If you have questions about what it is that you need to do to, help you through this period, go ahead and ask them in the comments below. We have a community of people that love to help each other. So let's, reach out. Let's connect. Let's connect with each other by, reaching out in the comments and, saying, hey, this is what I'm going through. I would love to see you and help you along your way too. If you want more specifics, I do have a link in the description below for some private readings. I do have some available dates still, so feel free to hit me up in the private readings. That is all I have for you today. I do want to remind you that you are not walking this path alone, that you are walking this path with a collective of people who are here to support you and love you. And if you ever feel lonely, feel free to, just reach out and be like, hey, someone get me through this. Because we are here for you and we're here to support you. I want to thank you for being part of the collective today. I'm so excited to see you again, and I wish you the best of luck. Bye-bye.